Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordinance and today's edition of Coffee and Kalashnikovs. I believe it's February 7th, something along those lines. Anyhow, I'm glad to see so many people here because that means you're not where, watching what. Um, I figured I would give you a little relief from having to, maybe sit with other family members that maybe you don't have the same ideology, or maybe you just had this self-abuse thing going on that you wanted to watch it. But anyhow, we're going to give you an excuse not to, because at the end of the day, who really cares, right? There is nothing intelligent going to come out of that other than, well, I'm sure there'll be some more gun control coming out of there. But hey, what else can they do, right? It's been a heck of a couple months, couple weeks, whatever. But I've got some good news. I've been busy. I'm sorry about last week. But we've been moving and yeah, literally moving. So we are in Wisconsin. Our last abode or second house is on the market, up for sale, and that's what I spent my last 2 weeks doing, is just getting everything out of that house and up here over the border, and cleaning that up, and just, you know what you got to do when you go to sell a house. It's crazy. You got to clean everything up, and not so yeah, it feels good. However, while it's good to be on the correct side of the cheddar curtain, eh, I have this feeling that I abandoned the folks down there. I really do, because although I haven't lived down there full time in forever, it's still where I was born and raised, and my kids are there, and that's why we'd go down and everything. But I just feel like I've abandoned everything down there. Like I should be fighting for it rather than running from it. But by the same token, you got to get out while the getting's good. You know, I'm hoping I didn't miss the boat on the real estate thing. I think we'll do okay. At the end of the day, I really don't give a crap, because I just want done with it completely. So that's a good thing. At the end of the day, they're going to beat this thing, and it's just a matter of time. And time is our enemy and their friend, right? Excuse me. I was running around like a madman. Can't find my mouse anywhere, partially because of all the chaos going on, but I couldn't find a mouse anywhere. Got three other ones that won't connect, but hey, what are you going to do? So I'm running around yelling, screaming, and couldn't find one. But anyhow, hey, we're here. What are we going to talk about tonight, guys? I'm really 2-8 out. I don't know. But hey, you got me instead of Joe. So here we are. On that note, time to relax. A little smoke, a little peach Red Bull, and life is good. Anyhow, we've also been setting up the new workshop, and I'm really trying to get all the things that I was missing in my other workshop set up here. So a complete air system where it's all piped in black pipe, and getting my Cerakote system all correct. So we added a dust system for the sandblaster and for other stuff, but mostly for the sandblaster, with a dust collection system and a cyclone and all that good stuff. Right before the live stream here, we were looking for an oven. Going to get that done and wired in, and Yeah, we're pretty much set. So you'll see some of that coming. That's going to be fun. Also, you're going to see some really cool stuff coming to the channel. Uh, if everything works out, you're going to see some pre-band stuff and all kinds of good stuff. So you'll see some AK, some not. Um, just all kinds of good stuff. It's all I can say is bear with me because it's been absolutely crazy for 2 weeks. Um, Properties, architects, builders, real estate people selling, moving, hauling, doing it's just nuts. And trying to work a full-time job in between. So, what can I say? But let's get over to the comments. See who's here. Joe's here. He says, "Hi, good to see you all. Hail to the king of the Kalashnikov." No, 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 no. I got a buddy that I call the king of Kalash, and we all know who that is. But that being said, I didn't get you the video on the Black Arrow. It's ready to go. Just got to drop it. So hopefully you'll see it. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Joe is first. All is okay in the week. When I saw Joe, it's like, good to see you, Joe. I thought you guys were making a spoof on our State of the Union tonight. Orion Fixer. Woo, I was afraid you boob kicked us off the waves on account of we like pew-pews and don't like Brandon. Good to see everybody. So let's talk about that. So I'm sure anybody that pays any attention to Guntubers saw in the last couple weeks some crazy stuff going on. You had some big time channels, old channels with 100,000 plus subscribers. One, I think, might be over 1 million. And they were getting strikes like crazy. And some just got booted. They used their collective powers. Some of them had representatives. I guess when you get to be a huge channel, you get your own personal representative. So you can all talk to somebody, really, which until that point, you can't talk to anybody. As far as I know, you can't even email. There's nowhere to email, ask questions. You can ask for a review on something, but they make their decision. That's it. You can't go, hey, wait, or send even an email. Nothing. There's no way to communicate. It's a one-way thing, and you get vague answers referring back to community guidelines. And you look through your video and you go, what's wrong? I don't see anything wrong. I'm not violating anything, but it's vague, sort of like the brace rule. It says, this is a list of some, but not all. Well, where's the list of all things, and you don't know. So you don't know what you're violating or supposedly violating. It's just hard to know anything. So a lot of guys were taking down videos and all kinds of stuff. Well, they use their collective power to sort of educate in a way, because let's face it, YouTube is a big platform, right? And there's everything from pew-pews to underwater basket weaving, right? And you can't be a reviewer or a moderator or whatever they call themselves. They can't be experts at everything, right? They know what they know and they don't know what they don't know. So, if they talk about inserting a mag or something as, modifying or changing up a gun, if you don't know guns, you don't know guns. So, while we all know that's not modifying a gun, it's just firing a gun, part of it. They don't know, and they give them a strike, and that's that, and start pulling videos, and soon all of a sudden they lost the channel. So between Mr. Guns and Gear and a few others, they were able to speak through his moderator, and I guess they kind of had a gag order on the thing for a little bit, and they ended up working it out. Channels were reinstated. videos were put back, rules were changed. To give YouTube some credit, they actually listened, learned, and went with it. I think Mr. Guns and Gear is a great person to have as a representative of the community because he's very level-headed. I don't see him just getting frustrated or mad or upset and going off on them. And one side says screw you, and the other one says screw you, and it's a bad thing for everybody, right? But all in all, I think he's perfect, and it worked out. And like I said, in this instance, YouTube did the right thing, and it worked out for everybody. Maybe they learned that, hey, we're not a bunch of bad guys. We're not a bunch of psychos. We're not a bunch of whatever they think of us. We're mostly guys that like history, love our country, agree with the Constitution, and just want to live our lives and have fun with our sport while being able to exercise our rights. That's all. Like anybody else with a hobby, right? Or a lifestyle, or however you want to put it. I think it's a little more important because it does surround our rights, right? So anyhow, it worked out. It was good to see that, and good to see a lot of people back. And I still think there's, in some cases, some wait and see sort of thing what happens. But I think it's pretty much over, and had a good ending. So that's very cool. I'm going to have to take a 1-minute break here, guys, because I had to use my inhaler before this and everything. And my nose is running from the steroids and everything. Terrible. Not doing well. I don't know if I got some kind of upper respiratory infection or what. Anyhow, Orient Fixers here. Chase Kelly, got to run outside of hotel to burn one, but be back in time. By time rock stars. 6:11. Evening, everyone. What's to do? Enjoy this live stream or watch Crazy Joe rack up Pinocchios. I don't know if he can actually do a Pinocchio anymore. I don't think he understands enough to know what he's doing. You look at some of it, like this thing with the balloon and all that. That was just, it almost looked like, they said, okay, what are you going to say? And he repeated it. And they said, okay, one more time. What are you going to say? And, I saw one quote where he said, I wanted to blast it or something, but they wouldn't let me, or something like that. Very strange situation, isn't it? You would think, word is they tracked it from launch in mainland China and watched it come over and all that good stuff. You would think that at some point, on the Pacific side of things, or the Aleutians, or Alaska, the most unpopulated state in the country, over Canada, Montana, the cornfields of Nebraska, whatever, that they would have taken this thing out, right? Not let it fly over essentially where NORAD and everything else is, and proceed on. And, it's obviously not just a weather balloon. It obviously is not following the wind. And then they get upset when we finally do take it down. Well, a lot of people are blaming and pointing fingers and saying, why didn't we this and why didn't we that? And I think at the end of the day, I have more, I don't know if I should say trust, or at the end of the day, I think the Department of Defense, the Joint Chiefs of Staff are the ones that are going to make the call, the recommendation, and all of that. And at the end of the day, I got to believe that there was a reason they didn't. I don't know what that reason would be, but maybe they did have a mission going on that you don't even know about. behind the scenes. And there was a reason. Maybe somehow they were collecting data. Um, I don't know if this is possible, um, because it's stuff I've only heard of in passing, but I guess SEAL teams do what's called a halo jump, right? And if I understand that correctly, it's from like the stratosphere, right? Essentially, they're like on the edge of space, maybe. Is that correct? Somebody tell me if I'm right or wrong. But they jump in a special suit and breathing apparatus and all that. Um, is it possible, being the size that thing was, that they could have done one of these halo jumps, landed on the damn thing, grabbed technology or information, or planted something to give false information, or who knows what, a million things, right? And while it traveled through the night, while everybody slept, and jet planes were flying around it constantly and refueling and drawing radar and all of that, when they were done, they hopped off, parachuted down, landed somewhere, and everything was done. I don't know. Is that possible, or is that too much James Bond or Mission Impossible? I don't know, but I bet something like that's capable. I would think. I mean, if it's the size of three school buses, how hard could it be to land on the thing? I don't know. I'm not saying you or I could do it, but there's some pretty incredible things that get handled behind the scenes. So just a thought. And even if it's not that, maybe there was some other reason why. I can't believe that our military and NORAD and everyone would just allow this thing to run through. It just maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is that far whacked. I don't know. That we're just let her on through, no problem. I don't know. Maybe it marked the position of every cell phone with TikTok running on it. Who the heck knows? But yeah, makes you think, doesn't it? Pretty scary. Pretty scary. They shoot down stuff that just approaches their airspace, doesn't even get super close, and they'll shoot it down and say, "Oh well," and we shoot it down, and somehow it's our fault. And just wait. One thought is they were waiting to see our response. How would we respond? Slow, quickly, violently, non-violently? How would we respond to something like that? I think at the end of the day, they probably really don't care how we respond. Uh, but who knows? I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on it? And what do you think is going to be tonight on the address? You think there's going to be call for more gun control, executive orders? I don't know. Everybody's hanging their hat on Bruin, and while Bruin is helping out a ton of cases and there's a lot of wins, at the end of the day, it's not the be all end all, and it does seem sometimes like we're in a great position, but it's precarious no matter how you cut it, because they're just working at other things. For those of you that get my Facebook feed, if you haven't seen what I shared the other day, I shared a video from a news agency, a right leaning news agency, Epoch Times, EPOCH. They have a series of YouTube videos, or maybe it's just a rebroadcast of one of their programs. But there's a young man on there that reports on all kinds of stuff. And he just so happened to report on what he calls the next or new wave of gun control, and how the anti-gun organizations are not that they always haven't, but they are going to uh, play long ball, essentially. They're not in it for short term. There's a bigger plan. It's well planned out. It's done with media and changing the way the general public thinks through just constant barrages of all kinds of different types of messages, right? And this was extremely interesting, and they proved it out completely. It wasn't a he said, she said. It was, they used FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and after they tell the story, they go, and here, folks, here's the emails in writing from these people to these people. You're here for you to see. We're publishing them, and that's what's going on, and that's what they're doing, and this is their end game. And frankly, it's scary. I hope you go to my Facebook page and check it out where I shared it. I will put a link to it in this when we're done with the stream. Anyhow, what it is you all remember maybe a month ago now, a few weeks ago, where the CDC pulled all the numbers on defensive firearm use. And they had all this data on how many lives and injuries it saved over X amount of years. And it basically ran the gamut from 60,000 to 2.5 million, is what these different reports said. And it was substantial. Matter of fact, once you take suicide out, it was more than the deaths caused by firearms, because something along the lines of 75 or 80% of them are suicide. The rest are a very small amount, actually. But 2.5 million lives saved defending themselves with a firearm against robbery, rape, murder, assault, all these things. And it's data they had compiled. And it had been up for quite a while on the CDC's website. It's still there in a way. Well, there's a placeholder there, but they were pushed by the left to remove it because it obviously didn't play well with what they would like people to perceive. And, they wanted to show how bad firearms are and how many deaths they cause and they're maiming and killing people. When in fact, there's a pretty good argument to the contrary, that they help defend many more than they hurt. So it started out with one or two anti-gunners from a couple different organizations contacting the CDC and saying, hey, I got a problem with your report here. Those numbers just don't look good for our agenda. They came right out and said that. They don't bode well for the agenda we're trying to push. And we'd like you to remove them. There's such a big swath, some year 60,000, some year 2.5 million. We don't think it's valid. We want you to take it down. And amazingly enough, because we've all heard stories about the CDC, right? But amazingly enough, a lot of folks at the CDC jumped up to defend this report, including the head of the CDC. Came out and said, nope, our numbers and our investigation and testing, or what's the term I'm looking for? Our data is absolutely correct. And I stand behind it, and I back the person that did it. And several other people came out and said the same thing. and they were asking them to take it down. And they don't mince words in these emails. They say exactly what they want and why. And I think the CDC said something like, well, that seems like you want us to push one agenda rather than be an unbiased scientific organization. And they said, yep, that's exactly what we want you to do. So when it didn't do them any good approaching the CDC, they went to some friends in the White House. One was a direct advisor to the president, and another worked in the White House in some other capacity, but a higher advisory capacity. And so they went to these people, and lo and behold, these people got a hold of the right people. Now, who that was, you'll have to read the emails and all. Did they get directly to the president? I don't know. But they got to the right people who then put the pressure on the CDC. And lo and behold, the CDC removed the report. And like I said, there's a placeholder there. And it says something about, wide swings in data, and we're going to do some more research and blah, 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 blah. You can read it and you'll hear it in that report. And there's an entire email trail about what they wanted them to do, how they wanted it worded, all these things back and forth from the CDC to these White House staff and the White House staff to the anti-gunners, the whole thing. And you will be shocked as to how blunt they are. They don't care. Like they didn't, well, maybe they didn't think anybody would ever see it, but it's shocking. They talk about their agenda and that, yep, well, this is just going to screw us, so we need it gone, basically. You'll be amazed when you read it and hear it. And it's all right there on the Freedom of Information Act. The guy that did the research, an amazing job, an absolutely amazing job. Anyhow, basically what he's saying in this thing is their long game or their long ball game over time is, what have they been saying since the pandemic, is follow the science, right? Follow the science. Well, they're going to be doing the same thing with this. Follow the science. Look at what the CDC says. And there's going to be all this stuff coming out that will back all of this. And just remember this conversation right now about follow the science as in regards to gun control, because over the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's what you're going to hear. And that's how it's going to be pushed and how it'll come in, because we can't argue with science, right? But and they tell their agenda in these emails. He reads them to you, shows them on screen, everything. You will be shocked. You will be shocked. It's outed, and you think, okay, it's out there. Everybody knows. Plan foiled, right? If it wasn't for these meddling kids, right? Well, the problem we have in this country is something they've always talked about. The general public has such a short attention span. It's on to the next news cycle, the next balloon story, the next whatever story, tripping up the stairs story. People forget. They do nothing about it. Will anyone in Congress call these people out? Will they call out the CDC? Will there be an investigation for someone being told to take down what they swore was correct data? And they backed their people there that did the studies. And now all of a sudden, with the emails right there, they're taking it down. Will Congress step up and call for an investigation? Who knows? Who knows? Epoch Times gets it, does it all. Did anyone else pick it up? Has anyone seen this elsewhere? I haven't. I try not to watch a lot of news at all. How about no news? Very little of either side. I'm just done with it. I don't know. But scary. And when you see how easily they were able to get a hold of the right people in the right places and the right calls made, and boom, done. I mean, when you see how easy, it's shocking, absolutely shocking. And you wonder, oh, can you ever win this? Can you ever hold on to it, right? A republic, if you can keep it, right? I always think of 2AEDU when I hear that statement, a republic, if you can keep it, uh, from Mr. Benjamin Franklin. It's amazing. But anyhow, take a look at it. It's on my Facebook page. I shared it. If they haven't pulled it down, I don't know. Or search Epic Times and on YouTube here, and you'll see the story if they haven't pulled it down. Maybe they are now. I don't even know how I found it. I'm shocked I found it. I'm shocked they um, are putting it out there, giving impressions on it. Who knows? Anyhow, let's see. Dale Jason's here. Good to have you. Joe Morgan, of course. MZ, how are you? Chase Kelly, Orion Fixer. I'm sure mainstream media will be full of Brandon's lies tomorrow. Stay here. Way better deal. Well, I don't know about that, but it's at least more entertaining and it doesn't get your blood pressure up, right? Squeaky Cooler. Hello, all. I'm out at the moment, but should be hanging out with y'all for a little while. Chase, I'm on travel mission, so great way to spend a motel evening. Remember when you were younger and maybe the first trip you had to take for work and you thought, oh man, this is awesome, right? Got a hotel, you got the expense account, you can eat and you're going to have a good time, right? A few drinks with the boys, this and that. And now what? Now you got to go out of town. You go, damn, I don't want to go out of town. Hotel room, or like, who said it? Was it Orion? Let me see here. Chase. Chase is like, I got to run downstairs for a smoke. That's the worst thing about hotels. You got to run outside to have a cigarette. And yes, I know I should quit. I probably shouldn't smoke during a live stream, but hey, this is me. This is who I am. This is what you get. Is what it is. Anyhow, let's see. What else do you guys got going on? What else you want to talk about? I'm on travel mission. Great news, Rock. My packet has been sent to CMP for 1911 random draw. They have 1911s again, or still? Those can't be cheap, and it would be cool to get one. I would love to have one. MZ, I installed the Blackjack recoil spring buffer in my SAM 5, and it was completely chewed up and destroyed after 300 rounds. You guys are going to kill me. So I still have not talked to the Arsenal rep. My original plan, or excuse was shots shows going on, and I didn't know if he was going, whatever, let him get back from that. But I promise you, I am off tomorrow, and I am going to shoot him an email and see if he's available to talk tomorrow. Misha did another video on it, and they shot a bunch more rounds through it. Doesn't look like it progressed. I think I will put a bunch more rounds through it. Can't hurt it anymore, right? I almost feel bad in a way that maybe people think I overreacted on it, because Misha kept saying in his video, and I don't know, he may not even have seen my video. Probably didn't. I'm just a peon. But it sure seemed like he kept saying, well, some people aren't used to AKs, and this is what happens, and this is how they wear in, and that's normal, and it doesn't progress. And I know that, obviously. I mean, I've got and had enough AKs that I get it. They're not an AR. They're manufactured and not assembled. You know what I mean? They're put together. Parts have to be fitted as opposed to clicked together. I get it. I get how Um, lugs may wear into a trunnion of hair, or the tail may get some peening and whatnot. I get all that. I've gotten guns with that. But I almost allowed myself to be talked into, well, it's normal, but it's not normal. It may stop, but it's certainly more, at least on my gun, more than I've ever had on any other AK variant ever. I for sure, while all AKs are overgassed, and I understand that too. You all know I do. All AKs are overgassed. That's partially what makes them so reliable, right? They'll feed a wide variety of ammunition, and when things are overgassed, things move. It'll overcome gunk and goop and stuff. That's what makes them so reliable. But 80 feet on a case, not normal. Bending cases, almost in half, not normal. And then the damage on the bolt. Now, it may stop. I may be wrong when I said I bet it deforms it enough to stick the firing pin. I may be wrong. But it's damn close, because when I took the gun apart the one time, I had to really push on that firing pin, and I get it. They're spring loaded. I understand. Most aren't. Bulgarians are. And all of a sudden, it let go, It was stuck. Now, could that have been some carbon or something? Maybe, but I could put thousands of rounds through any of the AKs and shake my bolt and hear the pin going. I mean, it's just more than there normally is. And frankly, you can even feel it, It's just not how it should be. He said his got smoother as he shot it. Well, of course, they all do, I'm not saying he did anything wrong or is wrong in what he's saying, but I don't know if he was speaking toward my video at all. But if he was, I would think he'd understand that I know, that what normal wear is, and that you lose paint on a lot of parts. And also what happened with the face of that hammer is not normal at all. That's way not normal. But and then he talked that most people thought it was newer guns, but mine is earlier than his original gun he tested. This was a gun he had just gotten in that he ran, I think, about 1,000 rounds through or so. And mine is an early gun, earlier than his original one. So maybe he's not talking about my video, or he probably would have heard that part, I would think. But maybe it's just wishful thinking that I thought, or pat myself on the back or something, that thinking Misha watched my video. But anyhow, we're going to talk to them hopefully tomorrow and see what's going on. Either way, I'm sure they'll take a look at it. And I'm sure they don't care if I put more rounds through it. What's the difference now? As a matter of fact, it's probably only a benefit to see what happens. So I think we'll try and get out and put a bunch of rounds through it. But I've still got so much to do around here. So I told you guys what's going on. So I've lived in northern Wisconsin for years and years and years, and we kept a place down in Illinois because of kids and relatives and all of that. But we're Wisconsin residents, have been forever. Our cars are titled here. Our driver's licenses are here. We vote here. We pay taxes here. We do all of that stuff. And I always try to spend less than 6 months, substantially less than 6 months in the state of Illinois. I do work there. But anyhow, it was a pain with living north and being down here. We had a house I could stay at during the week and different things, we go for a couple months down south, all kinds of stuff. It's just complicated. So to uncomplicate our lives, and the final straw being the gun control that's going on in Illinois, I said, you know what, we're done completely. So Mrs. Rock is a dynamo, an absolute dynamo. When she gets something on her mind, it's not like, well, let's get things started and we'll get it going. And maybe by April or May, we can list it. And it was, let's load up the truck, hitch up the trailer, get down there, grab what we want, get it back up here, get the rest thrown out. She got a dumpster, just everything gone, cleaned up. Kids, come over, get what you want, or it's going. Bye, boom, bing, bang. Uh, the house is staged, different furniture, all kinds of stuff. Boom, signed in the yard. Let's roll. Offer in on the new property because we have to keep a place down south. We can't be that far away. So southern Wisconsin will now be the main residence instead of northern Wisconsin. But I won't have to do anything at all in Illinois anymore, unless I want to come visit for the day. And frankly, I don't care to spend any time, give them any money, taxes, anything, nothing. I try not to spend anything there, but it's left me with this feeling of I grew up there. I grew up in the city of Chicago. I was with the Chicago Police Department for a while. I spent a lot of time down there, a lot of great memories, all of that stuff. And, by the channel, I'm a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment. And I feel in a way that when the going got tough, I bailed. Now, in reality, I bailed years ago, but I still um, would fight the best I could. And we had a lot of political connections down there, and some people we backed and went to their dinners and things like that. And I always felt like I did what I could. I mean, while Wisconsin is my favorite place on the planet, Illinois always held a special place for me. But that being said, I don't know if it's really, I'm not running, you know what I mean? I'm just doing what I have to do to be a law abiding citizen, and while still working for a cause I believe in, right? As I'm sure many down there would do if they could. And I get it, it's hard. Not everybody can just uh, do like we did, but it really, at the end of the day, it wasn't as hard as like somebody that's living there, that's their main home, and they got to sell and find. I mean, we already were out, so it was just wrapping up loose ends, sort of. But it's still a lot of big um, events to take care of, but at the end of the day, yeah, we worked our tails off for 2 weeks, and yeah, it was hard, and it's, I guess, pretty much over. Now it's just the realtor's job to get me a check. That's all. In the interim, looks like we'll be getting that property, and we're going to have. I been out there visiting and looking and doing, and looks like at a minimum, for sure, I can have a 500-yard range. Depending on one other piece of the puzzle, maybe 1,000 yards. Certainly, for sure, out to 800 if I wanted to, but I want it to be permanent, solid, not something I have to switch up. Yeah, it'll all come, guys. We'll do videos when the time comes, but this is going to be kind of a process right now because um, it takes a while to build a house and all that good stuff. But should be in a rental home by the end of the week in southern Wisconsin. So I won't have to make the drive all the way north all the time. And we'll be good. But in the interim, it's going to be, or when it's done, it's going to be really, really cool. Um, So many good videos we'll be able to bring you. Think of what you can do with that kind of yardage and woods and everything. We're just going to have a blast. And we are definitely going to have a uh, Rockford Ordnance Kalash Bash, so to speak. Not just Kalash, but a good get together. So when everything's done, ready, it's going to be awesome. I got a perfect spot to put a Hickok 45 range, and I want one a lot like his. I love shooting steel. It's one of my favorite things. I just love it. So I can't wait to do that. And I've got a spot picked out that even kind of looks like his. So it'll be neat. Yeah, I'm excited. But that's why we weren't on last week and almost weren't going to be on tonight because just so darn busy. But I couldn't blow you off 2 weeks in a row, guys. So let's see who gave us a super chat here. Wow. Holy moly. A $45 super chat from Chase Kelly. 45 for the hopes that I get my CMP. You're going to get it, brother. I'll pray for you to get it. I hope you do. That is so cool. Maybe we have the get together and you bring that and my grand and we can get some cool pictures of them together. That'd be neat. I got to take a look over there and see what's out there. Hey, quick question. Anybody in here have a Daewoo? Anybody have a Daewoo? Anybody ever shot a Daewoo? Pretty cool. I've been researching a little bit because I never had shot one. Never seen one in person, maybe at a gun shop, but really, really interesting. Kind of a cross, of course, between an AR. The top sight actually reminds me of my Spanish set me. A Galil style folding stock. There's even a little FNFAL in there. It's like they took bits and pieces from a bunch of stuff and maybe made one really, really nice rifle. Hopefully we're going to be bringing you some videos on one, along with some really, really neat, rare, and mint pre-band stuff. Nothing crazy, but just neat stuff that I've wanted to add to my collection, and the opportunity arose, and hopefully it all works out. We'll see. So you can look forward to that. But it's going to be a fun summer. That's for sure. What else is going on over here? Man, I hope you get that 1911. That'd be so cool. I don't know what's in. I thought they had the batch come in. It was gone. Then maybe I heard of another one. If there's another one, I wonder what's in it. Is there real early stuff? I'm sure just like the grands, they auction the really nice stuff. But even just a really nice cap, decent finish, mid-tier 1911 would be awesome. It really would. The weight, yeah. But the good news is CMP, the weight isn't all that bad on it. I was thinking about that. Had a friend of my son's around Christmas come and we went shooting. He brought his Garand and I brought mine, and he's a Marine. Loves his Garand. He had gotten 2 CMP Garands. One was like Korean War year, and the other one was just after, I don't know, about the same, I think. But had been rebarreled and just not one of their better rifles, right? So he kept the better of the 2 and got rid of the one. his hope was that if he got two, at least one of them would be good. And one was better than the other, so he got rid of the one. He then thought, I really want a World War II gun. So he tried again and he sent it in. And this time he said, he put a little note in there that he was with the Marines, in the Marines, and that he was currently deployed over in Europe. And that he kind of put in what his dream gun would be. Well, lo and behold, what showed up but a grand World War II, 1944. I'm sorry, early 45, similar to mine. Original barrel, original stock with all the markings. I am so jealous. You have no idea. It's the perfect. The only thing could make it a little better if it was a 44, but it's like February or March of 45. And it's just a beautiful gun. Absolutely beautiful. Um, uh, all the parts are Springfield in it. Uh, Everything, I think, except the op rod was Springfield Armory marked. Now, were they correct into that rifle? I don't know. I kind of doubt it, but could be. But the op rod definitely wasn't. But he did get a Springfield Armory op rod, and it's all Springfield parts, original barrel, original stock. Oh, and he even got a lock bar sight on it. It came with a lock bar sight, which I don't think I didn't think they sent any out with it. I thought even if they had one, they changed it. Maybe not. But this thing somehow avoided being re-arsenaled, right? Or it would have had the newer sight on it. It had the original sight. And I just went, oh my God. I mean, I got to think that note had to have helped. Somebody there probably, I'm sure he sent his papers and everything. And somebody went, nice young man in the Marines. We're going to do him a solid. Boom, sent him that. I am so jealous. It's a beautiful rifle. Me, I love mine's original barrel, but the stock is not. And I like it because, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now. It's beautiful. I wanted mine to be darn near perfect. It's my OCD. I like it that way. But I sure would like one that had an original stock with the different cartouches and all. That'd just be so cool. And I don't know. Maybe I'll try for another one. Who knows? Um, been loading a bunch of ammo for that. So we're going to have some fun with that. You'll see some stuff coming on that. And we've been loading a ton of 9. Frankly, I loaded up every bit of 223 brass I had. So going to have to go out and find some more. But the snow's been so deep up here that I couldn't even think about it. If I stopped by the range and took a look, you could see holes in the snow. Somebody had been shooting and it went in, but you're not going to find it. I got my new little picker-upper tool that I want to mess with and get some more brass going. Because winter's long here, and hey, what better way to spend it than cleaning some brass and getting it ready to go in the Dillon. The 9, everything's working fabulous on it. I get a little stick once in a while. On the Dillon, it expands the case, it bells the case mouth and drops the powder at the same time. So then when I push the handle back up to bring it down off the expander and powder funnel, it sticks a little. Other than that, it's running absolutely phenomenally. I think I loaded 500 rounds of 9 in, man, I think it was well under an hour. I mean, just crazy, just crazy. Just going to town. Boom, 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 boom. It's so great. The amount of ammo I can shoot now is, I don't even think about it, as long as I can keep brass coming and Got a good supply of primers. I got to stock up on some powder, getting low there too. But we loaded some 308 and some 30-06. Used up a bunch of Varget that I had. For those of you that don't know, Varget is an awesome, awesome powder. And I'm hoping to get some really accurate rounds. Let's see. We got some cool stuff here. Where was Space Force when you need them? I didn't even think of that. I can't believe nobody brought that up. I never heard any of that. But that's funny. Third round is still taking packets. Okay. Chase, service grade 1250, field grade 1150, rack grade 1050. When they call, you have to choose from whatever they have at the time. Oh, so they don't necessarily have all three, huh? But I mean, for what, the difference of $200, why wouldn't you get the nicest one you can, right? For $200, who cares? I said, the way I see some of these things priced, I got a feeling that guys are buying these things and turning right around and selling some of them for a profit, which is not legal, folks, just so you know, if you're not FFL. But who would want to get rid of it? Man, if I was lucky enough to get one, I'd want to hang on to it. I love 1911s. I just do. I'd like to have a 10 millimeter 1911. I think that'd be cool. But that's really affordable. I mean, hell, $1,000 is what you pay now for a basic Kimber, you know. So not bad. Chase, once again, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it, guys. I'll just touch on it real quick. It's the only thing that supports the channel anymore. Are these super chats? And if you look where you type in the chat, right below it, there's a $sign. Click on that, and you can donate whatever you want: $1, $10, $50, whatever. 7.62. Whatever you can afford, whatever you see value in, we appreciate it. And it goes right back into the channel. It goes into ammo and targets and club memberships and all this stuff. Joined a new club too by the new property. We have a very nice gun club right around the corner, and also have a police range not too far that I understand, if I get to know a few people locally, that I can have some fun over there. So it is, guys, if this works perfectly and everything goes like I think it is, I'm literally going to be in heaven. Perfection, absolute perfection. And I got to thank my wife, because she, I know it's not, she was hoping that when we did our next final move that we'd be getting warmer, not staying in the cold. So, but we'll get down there eventually. Got a few more years yet, and who knows? This is just phenomenal. It really is. I can't wait. You guys don't know how excited I am. While it's fine up north here, it's just the winters are long. Summers are phenomenal. But I have to travel for work, and that becomes a pain. Is what it is. But it's going to be so much fun. Let's see. Pixel Face Killa's in here. Good to see you. Who would drive a Daewoo? We're not talking about driving a Daewoo. I assume you're being facetious. Daewoo rifle, the standard issue battle rifle of the South Korean military. Dandy Dude 2010. I used to have one, but I blew the head gasket. I'm still stoked. 2 years since I got it, with my 5-digit serial number M1. Wow. That's awesome, dude. But you can only order one, period. CMP restriction to prevent that stuff. Well, that's good they do that then. Of course, just kidding. Congrats on the big moves. Yeah, I know you're kidding. Yeah, that Daewoo sure seems neat. So kind of excited for that too. Did I tell you guys the story of me screwing up my DMR, my Aero Precision DMR rifle? Did I tell you a story about that? Somebody, if you heard me say it in a live stream, let me know. I'm a little embarrassed by it, but if I haven't told you, I'll get into it because it was definitely one of the hardest gunsmithing fixes I ever had to do. And while I'm embarrassed of how it happened, I impressed myself with the outcome, actually. Everybody needs to have one of these. Good old Zippo, right? And there's a cool one. Got the Gadsden flag on there. But you gotta have a Zippo. Did I tell you guys the story? All right. Give me a 1 minute break. I wish I could play the Jeopardy music, but give me a 1 minute break. And then I will come back and tell you. You guys are just going to lose. I'm going to lose so much face telling you this story. You guys are going to think I'm an absolute moron. Not that you don't think that already, but hey, what the hell? Let's see. We'll give you a little entertainment while we're gone. We'll do that one. It's still blurring. It's whiting it all out. Doesn't look anywhere as good as it does in person. It's so vivid, the colors there. That white does not exist in reality here. But 1 minute, guys, little break. We'll call it a 2A EDU break. When he takes his little pee breaks. Well, I'm not doing that. I just need 1 minute. Be right back. All righty. I had to go get something because I want to show you this. Because I promised a gentleman I would do this. And with the craziness lately, I showed it to you, but I didn't give you the full lowdown on the company. I was at a local gun show and got to talking to a gentleman that was selling T-shirts and hats. Older gentleman, my age, maybe a hair older. And he had these T-shirts and hats, and he had a saying on them. And he asked me if I wanted one, and I said, no, I got so many T-shirts and hats. I can't use a single another one. I have to throw out half of what I have because I get so many free ones from different people in the industry and stuff like that. And he says, oh, really? What do you do? And I told him about the YouTube channel. And he said, what design would go best? Our AR, AK, or I think there was a shotgun. No, 1911, a pistol or an AR, a revolver, or an AR. And I said, well, probably the AR would go best. Why? What are you talking about? He goes, well, I want to give you one, and you can show it on your live stream. And in return, just tell them where you got it. And I said, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I don't charge anybody anything for videos or anything like that. That's why my stuff is what it is. It's stuff I like, things I like, people I like, people I think that do the right thing. And that's why I decided to help them out. So, anyways, his saying that I believe he trademarked it or copyrighted it, maybe. I'll show you. It's on a hat. And it's Ronald Reagan said it. He said, strength through peace. But Ronald Reagan said it spelled Peace, as in peace, peaceful. Well, he did this, strength through peace, meaning a firearm. This one has the AR on it, and it's on a nice hat. It's called Real Tree New Edge Camo. And he had t-shirts, white, black, etc. And I showed it on here before, but I wanted to tell you the company name and everything. And it's Strength Through Peace, BAMF Enterprises, LLC. And you can find him online. He's got a website that we can't say, but it's BAM, like BAM, and then F and ENT, like entertainment, and then you know what. But yeah, interesting company, nice gentleman, and he's just doing his part, getting that saying out there, and some neat t-shirts. The t-shirts are have the an outline of a rifle like that up there, and then the saying, and they're pretty inexpensive. If you're looking for something like that, go over there, check him out, and it goes to a good cause. Anyhow, I wanted to show you that, and it doesn't have his name on here. I wish I knew his name, but anyhow, check it out. You can get it with an AR, an M4, it looks like, Smith & Wesson, or a 1911. How about that? So go check it out. Just something I ran into, and I promised him I'd do it. And seemed like a good guy. And we were talking about politics and all that good stuff. So it's a good day. Anyhow, I was going to tell you what I did too. You guys have all seen my Aero Precision, the FDE or Coyote tan rifle. Aero Precision M4E1 enhanced receiver. So the barrel nut is monolithic with the upper. And then there's an internal barrel nut to it. So effectively, if you're putting any pressure on the handguard, it does not transmit at all to the barrel because it's attached directly to the upper. Makes for an extremely accurate rifle. We had a 20-inch ballistic advantage barrel on it. Nitrided, heavy profile, medium heavy profile, just an M4, an A1 flash hider on it, a primary arms, gold level, 2.5 by 10 scope. Fabulous scope. They're expensive now. They're well over $1,000, but incredible glass on it. Other than that, this Magpul bipod. It's got backup irons, all the usual leather stuff, right? However, we did not do a rifle length buffer tube. We did a carbine length buffer tube. It does not have adjustable gas on it. However, the rifle just shoots fabulous and very accurate. It's a 1-in-7 twist, so fast twist. Likes heavier pills, but it'll shoot 55 grains well too. Which you know, a lot of guys will say, "Oh, you can't do 1 and 7. You can't shoot 55 grain. Ain't going to shoot it. It'll overstabilize it." That kind of thing. Yes, that's true in some cases, but there's a lot of guns with faster twists like that that shoot lighter bullets just fine. It's an MOA gun. Once in a while, sub MOA. Easy to shoot, super soft, all of that. Anyways, I was building some rounds and gonna ladder test them and all that with 75 grain bullets, and had been working real hard to get these done. Had everything laid out in my book to chart everything, and I was finally going to have the time to just go through it, get velocities, everything, and just do it right. And I had everything set to go. A buddy of mine came with, and we weren't there 5 minutes. I pulled that gun out, and I ran a couple normal rounds through it, got the bag set up, all of that, and ready to go. And I think I got 2 rounds down, and I'm trying to think how it happened. Chambered the next round, the 3rd round, and I think it just went click and didn't fire. It's just weird. I'm like, huh, I've never had that have that happen with my reloads, right? And I pull back on the charging handle, and it sticks a little, and I pull, and the shell comes out. Powder goes flying everywhere. And I right away realized, well, I must have loaded these a little long, because I had measured everything and had run these rounds as long as I could get to fit in the mag. So the jump to the rifling was shorter. And the bullet must have stuck in the rifling, contacted the rifling, and stuck enough to where when I pulled it out, it left the bullet in there, and everything else went flying. So I'm like, oh, great. Bullet stuck, no big deal. Get a cleaning rod and boom, knock it out, and we'll be in biz. And then I realized, I don't have my 22 cleaning rod here. I have my 30 cal cleaning rod here, but I don't have my 22. So I'm looking around, what can I use? Well, I got an 8K cleaning rod, but that'd be fine on a 16-inch barrel, but on a 20-inch, it ain't gonna reach it, right? So I'm looking, I'm mortaring the thing, figured maybe I'd get it out, whatever. Can't get it out. And keep in mind, it takes an hour to load everything up. The night before to get everything ready, I had loaded all these rounds, drove hour and a half to get there, set everything up, and within 5 minutes, my entire day is shot. Just shot. I thought, man, I had a video I'm going to do, and I had done all the time and loading, and I'm frustrated. I'm mad. I'm like throwing things mad, right? And then I calm down and figure, well, whatever. And my buddy says, well, you just want to go home, or you want to go home and get it out and then come back? And I said, no, the day will be over by the time we get all the way home and then all the way back and everything. I said, no, I'm just going to sit here and help you with your gun and do what he wanted to do. And there was one other guy there. I thought maybe I'll go over and ask, but he's shooting pistols. I doubt it. I'm not going to bother him. So I'm watching him shoot. And this is a long story, but that's how I tell stories. Anyhow, we're walking down to check his targets, and we're walking past this thicket. And he says, why don't you grab one of them straight sticks over there? And I bet you with pocket knife, you could, get those little twigs off of there, and you probably knock it out with that. See how strong they are. And I said, nah, I'm not going to do that. Uh, he says, why? Will it screw up the barrel? I said, no, the wood ain't going to screw up the barrel, but it's just not what I want to do. I don't want to stick a stick down my barrel and whatever. And so we check his targets. We're walking back, and I'm thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. So, well, I crack one of these things off, and it was, I don't know what it was. Growing kind of like dogwood wood, but straight, almost not a reed, but maybe the inside. I don't know. It was hard. Long story short, I shave all the little things off. It's perfect size. It goes down. I feel it hit the bullet, and I push a little. It's hard. It's pretty darn hard. I got a little gunsmithing hammer with me, and I give it a few taps. And usually I figured the thing would just poke. I've done it before, Wasn't coming. A little harder, a little harder. Stick's taking it really well. I mean, it's great. I figured this thing's going to pop a little harder, harder, harder. Starts moving a little bit. It ain't budging. The thing ain't budging. So I'm hitting it harder. I'm hitting it harder. I'm hitting it harder. It's still holding up. I can't believe this bullet ain't coming out. It must have went down, whatever. I don't know, but it ain't coming. So now I'm hitting it hard enough that I'm smashing the wood, kind of, like fraying it out at the top. But I got my hand around it to support the wood that's hanging out of the barrel, and I'm hitting it, hitting it, hitting it. And it feels like it's moving, and I'm thinking, man, did this primer go off and push it further down or something? I didn't even hear the pop. Why would the powder burn? Whatever. A lot of thoughts going through my head. And again, I'm pissed, right? Or I wouldn't even be doing this. Just one of those angry where you're like, oh, I could have bent that thing over my knee. I was so mad. Anyways, long story short, the stick goes down in about that far. That much was hanging out. I pounded it down till it was flush with the barrel. And it's the bullet still ain't coming out. Then I take the AK cleaning. Now I'm pissed. I'm just pissed. Screw this thing. I'm getting it out. I don't care if I destroy the gun. I take the AK cleaning rod. I put it on the stick. I hammer that down. Thing ain't coming out. What do I end up with? I end up with a bullet stuck in the barrel, with a stick stuck in the barrel, with an AK cleaning rod stuck in the barrel. I get the AK cleaning rod out. I put it in the other end and figure I'll try and ram it out that way. I pound the AK cleaning rod in. I got an AK cleaning rod stuck in the chamber end. I got the stick stuck in the other end and the bullet in between. And I can't get either out, can't move any. Everything's just friggin' stuck. I'm sitting there with this upper at the bench going, I am such a jackass. I can't even believe it. And I didn't really care. At that point, I would have thrown it in the woods. Anyhow, he's like, my buddy's laughing at me. I'm like, yeah, thanks for the great idea. He knew I was pissed when I was doing it, Anyhow, get home, throw it on the bench, forget about it. I'm thinking the thing's got to be hammered anyways from pounding on it and whatever. I got online. I ordered a new Roscoe barrel for it. I think I brought you guys a video on that, if I'm not mistaken. In the interim, I was going to Cerakote it because it's a stainless barrel. It's a much nicer barrel than what was in there. And I've been waiting to Cerakote it, get my Cerakote thing done. Then with the move and all this, that got sidetracked. So just hadn't been shooting it. It's laying there. And been thinking of ways to get it out. In the meantime, I had gotten the AK cleaning rod out. And I'm thinking, well, what's the way to get this out? I'll drill it out. I was going to drill a small drill hole in the bullet, in the base of the bullet, and use like a easy out or something. It almost looked like maybe there was a case neck in there or something, I thought, for a minute, just looking in there. And I didn't have the brass that came out of it, and I whatever. Um, so I drilled a small hole. I get the long easy out in there, and it bites and grabs, and I'm pulling, 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 and the thing just won't come. And the easy out pulls out of the soft lead. So I gradually drill bigger, 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 bigger with a hand drill, mind you. And I figure, I'm pretty good, but I don't think I'm good enough to miss the rifling on this. So I'm drilling it, drilling it, drilling it. All I got left now is copper case, right? You would think that that would just collapse and I'd be able to push it out, try pounding it out again. It ain't budging. And then it sort of dawns on me what happened. Well, the bullet's lodged in, right? The bullet's got a pointy end. I stuck that wooden stick down there. It hit it here. And what happened was that stick went bloom, bloom. And I effectively made the world's greatest, strongest wall anchor on the planet. That's the one end. Now the other end, where I put the metal AK cleaning rod down, hit the wood, that drove in about 3 inches into the wood, splitting the wood like this out against the barrel, and again, made a wall anchor out of it. When I say tight, guys, I had to rig first between my vise, I put a washer. What did I do? I put a washer down over the cleaning rod. I put a pin through the hole in the end of the cleaning rod, opened the vise about this far, and I was dropping it onto it, trying to slam the barrel out of it, right? It would hit that washer, stop the cleaning rod, and hopefully the rifle, the weight of the barrel would pull it off. It wouldn't budge it, would not budge it. At the end of the day, I created essentially like a clutch puller, almost 2 plumbing fixtures screwed together, a bunch of washers stacked over the cleaning rod, and then I just unscrewed the 2 brass fittings to make a puller, and that pulled that out. And so now, but I still had the bullet and the stick in there. Well, the copper case of the bullet and the stick in there. Threw it on the bench. I had had enough. Forget it. The other barrel was here. Just want to Cerakote. I'll get it in a rifle. I told one of the guys at work, and he asked me, "What's going on? Did you get that thing handled?" And I said, No, I gave up on it. I'm done. It's got to be so hacked anyways with all the crap I've been doing to it. Doesn't matter. So I don't know. A couple weeks go by. I'm bored one night, and I look at it, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I just want to see what it did to it. And in the meantime, we were thinking, what is there I could pour down it that'll dissolve wood? Turns out you can't dissolve wood, guys. There's nothing on the planet that will dissolve wood. Well, let me clarify that. There's nothing on the planet that will dissolve wood that won't also dissolve the steel barrel. Hydrochloric acid will get rid of the wood, but it'll burn right through your barrel too. Wood has a makeup of cellulose cells that you can soften, sort of, kind of, but you can't dissolve it. You just can't. Like wood pulp, they mash it, mash it, mash it, but it doesn't go away. And then I thought, well, if I put lubricant down there, it's going to absorb it in the wood and it's going to swell it, right? All these different things. My one idea was I will plug the ends of the barrel so there's no oxygen in there, or just a small amount. And I'm going to heat it. Try to keep it like, I don't know, 250, 300 maybe, where it won't affect anything. But it's exactly how you make char cloth, right? For starting fires. Essentially turn it into charcoal. I thought I'll turn it into charcoal and things will come right out, right? And then I get to thinking, you know what? What if I just heat this thing a little bit and then see if it'll push? And with all the pushing I had done on this thing, I thought, yeah, the barrel's going to expand, but wood being as soft as it and all that, it's probably not going to work. Well, I break out the heat gun. I heat the thing in the area where I know it's stuck like that. I heat it, heat it, heat it, heat it. This heat gun goes to, I think it'll go to like 400 degrees. And I probably got it, I don't know, probably 300 or so. Hot enough to where I had to hold it with a glove, but not hot enough that it burned the glove, but pretty darn hot. And I heat it, I'm grabbing it. Now I have a solid brass rod, 22 caliber size, and I put it down there. I've been beating on this thing so much, I can tell exactly what's going on when I do it. I go, pump, and I feel it move. I'm like, holy shit, it just moved. I went, pump, 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 and the thing went bloop, right out. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. A heat gun, and poof, it came out like nothing. It took some pretty good hits to get it out, but it came out. Now, I thought because I had driven into that wood so much, I thought I had taken a stick about this, whatever, that long, and probably compressed that wood down to about that. In my head, that's what I thought it looked like. It was probably just jammed into the rifling and everything and about that long now, right? And but no, once that bullet came out, the copper jacket came out, the stick actually just went poof, fell out. It was all one piece, perfect, except you could see in the end that I had driven the metal part of the one cleaning rod into it about 3 inches, thereby making the wedge, and that at the other end, the bullet had made the wedge about that much of it. But heating it just gave it just enough to release, plus the other things. Um, and I thought, okay, well, now I'm going to look down and see where I had drilled. Uh, I drilled, although I could see there was copper jacket when I looked down the barrel, I had drilled all the way through the end of it, through the tip of the bullet. And who knows if I did it by hand. If I was off just a hair, I would have hit the rifling and whatever, right? So I lube up a patch and I clean it real quick, and then I run a swab down it and I hold it up to the light and I go, oh my God, it's absolutely perfect. There's not a nick. Then I get the borescope out and I'm like, there's not a nick, a mark, a nothing. It's absolutely perfect. Um, Unbelievable. But talk about feeling like an idiot. I mean, I know I know better. I know not to do that, but it goes to tell you when you're frustrated and mad, and you just, I really didn't give a damn if I destroyed it at that point, but I was so mad. But um, just goes to show you the simplest thing turns into this crazy fiasco, and then the simple heat gun. I mean, here I'm thinking of all this crazy stuff and just da, 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 bunk. So yes, even those that know much better still do stupid shit. But I thought you guys would enjoy that one. Everybody's got one of those stories where you go, God, I know better than this. Why am I doing this? But we've all probably had a bullet stick like that, and they come out so easy usually. I don't know what the hell was with that thing, but anyways, funny story, a bit embarrassing, but hey, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you can't laugh at anything, I guess. So if you guys got a funny story of what you have done to somehow destroy a firearm or something like that, let me know, because that was one hell of an episode there. Let's see what else you guys got to say here. This was removed the first time. Watch redacted on YouTube or Rumble. Apparently, the Chinese did indeed tell about the wayward balloon very early on when it was going off course. Really? So you're saying it was kind of um, maybe innocent, and they said, "Hey, look, we got a problem." I don't know. Sorry, I'm smiling ear to ear because that sounds like something I've done before. Tex Bullington. Yeah, we've all done stupid shit. And when you're out, shame on me for not having a full length 22 cleaning rod with me. I mean, that's just really stupid. But you know why I stopped bringing it? Because where I shoot always had dowels there for just that occasion. And I went to look where they're usually at on our 100-yard range. And of course, somebody stole them, right? So, yeah, had somebody not stolen the $2 dowel, I wouldn't have had that. Yeah, the barrel survived. It's actually back on the gun. I haven't shot it yet. Um, I'm gonna shoot. I want to shoot it now just to see, just to see if it's really fine. Um, there was a, I don't know if it happened from the vise or something, or if I dropped something on it, but the um, the barrel extension uh, had like a mark right at the end, right where it would go into the receiver. And just enough metal was barely moved, and that barrel was a super tight fit that it didn't want to go into the receiver. And I thought, again, should have slowed down, got another receiver extension, and taken the old one off, put the new one on, and gone that way. And I'm looking, it's so tiny that with my little 2-ounce ball peen, I could just tick, tick, and go, and it went in. But I hate using a hammer on a barrel ever. Not that it will really do anything, but by the way, you don't know normal situations, you don't need more than a 2-ounce ball peen for any gunsmithing job. Um, that's the only hammer I keep on my bench um, with a super polished face. You can take a mirror polished face of a hammer and bang on a beautifully done gun all day long and it won't leave a mark. Um, how hammers leave marks on metal is if you have an indentation in the face of that hammer, it's going to transfer to whatever you're hitting, right? So if it's polished, it won't leave a mark. I'm not saying you can't harm it or move metal, you can, but you won't get the typical nicks, scrapes, gouges, whatever, with a polished hammer. Mark from the Anvil channel, Master Gunsmith. He's got videos on it. You should always, always, always polish the faces of your hammers. And I do it whenever I notice an imperfection in it, or I'll take it over to the wheel, I don't know, twice a year maybe. And literally, you can see yourself in the face of that hammer. It's so perfect. And I put a little chamfer rounded on the edge, and it's hard to damage anything, or much harder to damage something when the face of your hammer is polished. And you can start, depending how bad it is, even if it's a new one, brand new, you shouldn't be able to see any machining or casting marks in the face of that hammer. You can, if it's super bad, start with a file, go down to sandpaper, etc., super fine sandpaper, and then take it to a polishing wheel until it is a mirror. I mean, a mirror. I'll bring you a video on just that. Now, that does not apply when you are bashing 8K cleaning rods through an AR barrel. Then 2-pound sledges work just fine. But yeah, in normal situations, when your temper is of normal level, a 2-ounce ball peen is all you should ever use. You can redo screw heads with it, move the metal back in. Let's say you gouge out a slotted screw on an older gun, let's say 1800s lever action or something. And over the years, from people using the wrong screwdriver, they've screwed up the whole slot in the screw. You can just, with fine little taps like this, move the metal back in. You can recut the slot with something as simple as a hacksaw, but they do make screw slot files for that. But a hacksaw blade will work. You can just drag it through and redo the slot, and then chuck the screw up in your drill, and with a piece of emery cloth or a polishing wheel, hit the drill, get it spinning, and polish it over real nice, and essentially remake your original screw to look factory. You can even blue it with a torch then. There's so many ways to do it without replacing it, and without having to look at some boogered up screw that the gun's perfect other than these screws that some jackass messed up, and makes the gun perfect again. It's really easy to do. Next time you have a screw like that, just work it with that hammer. And I'm not talking about hitting it. I'm talking about just little taps. You'll see the metal move. You're trying to move it back in to those parts of the slot that have widened out on the edges. And move the metal back in. You don't care if it fills that slot back in. You don't want to push it too far where you're pushing metal that should have been out here into the middle, but just tap it around, work it around on an angle like this. Just keep working it around until you move it back in, reslot it, and then buff and polish. A little piece of emery cloth, and then little polishing. And you could cold blue it if you want, or you blue it with heat. And then soak it in a little oil, and boom, your gun's perfect again. It's fun to do too. It's enjoyable if you like stuff like that. I don't think anybody gets into mechanical stuff or gunsmithing unless you enjoy stuff like that. But I like to make things better than they came to me, or restore things. My favorite thing in the world is restoring things, and it doesn't have to be a gun. It could be anything. You guys remember that show? It was a spinoff of Pawn Stars, where the guy restored everything from old mailboxes to jukeboxes to motorcycles. I've done all that stuff. I used to enjoy restoring vintage mini bikes and different stuff, bicycles, anything. You give it to me, I want to paint it and make it better than it was when it was new. It's what got me into guns originally. I enjoy it. I enjoy restoring something. Old TVs, a microphone, an appliance from the 50s, a fan from the 50s. Remember the big old, those things were death, boy. Stuck your finger in there, you'd lose it. Your parents weren't kidding around. If you grew up in the 50s, if you stuck your finger in one of those fans, it was gone, baby. But restoring those, sandblasting stuff, painting stuff, recoating stuff. Learn how to parkerize, guys. One of the easiest things on the planet is parkerizing. It's not dangerous. There's not caustic hot chemicals. Yeah, there's chemicals, but it's easy. And parkerizing is one of the best, most durable finishes on the planet. It holds oil extremely well. And it just happens to be probably the best substrate or finish on a substrate to Cerakote. If you have one of the best guns ever to Cerakote is a wasser. You degrease and gas out all the oil on it and everything, and you don't have to do a damn thing to a wasser. Soak it in acetone and heat it up to get all the oil out. Put it in the acetone again. Let it flash off and shoot it. Throw it in the oven and bake it, and that Cerakote ain't ever coming off. A wasser is a great, great platform, the AK platform to Cerakote. Um, their parkerizing is rough. It's right there. You have very little prep other than degreasing and getting every bit of oil out of it. It's the other thing. Every bit of oil, everything. You heat it after you clean it and you think it's absolute perfection, clean it again in acetone. And then when you've scrubbed and you've gotten every nook and cranny and you've got everything out of there, you will bet your life, your children's life on it, everything, that there's not another thing of oil on it. Clean it again. And then just 4 cans of brake cleaner on top of that. I'm just kidding. But when you think it's clean, do it again. Then throw it in the oven at 200, 250 and see if you get any weeping of oil, especially around the rivets and stuff. If you get some of that, back in the acetone, and then throw it in the oven again and see if you get any more weeping. When you get no more weeping, you'll see it around rivets, around holes, around where the trunnion maybe meets the receiver or something. You'll get oil out of there, even though you've cleaned it to the bejesus. When that weeping stops, you're good to go. And once you pull it out of the acetone, after you heat it and gas it and no more oil's coming out, I would then again probably one more thing of acetone. And then from there, latex gloves, not latex, whatever you call them, the blue gloves from there. Don't risk touching it, and shoot it. Whether you're going to Cerakote it, whether you're going to do the appliance epoxy. Appliance epoxy is a great way to go, guys. It comes out magnificent. Very, very nice finish if you're building an AK. Or just want to put a nicer finish on a washer. Fabulous, fabulous, super hard, as hard as Cerakote in my opinion. Maybe better, maybe harder. You just have to use the Rust-Oleum brand only. Do not use a generic brand. Just make sure it's Rust-Oleum. I've made a mistake and used an Ace Hardware brand, and it did not work out. Problem is, it gets so glossy it looks fake. With the Rust-Oleum brand, bake it at a higher temperature than normally recommended. I'd put it up in that 375 to 400 range and bake it, and it will dull down, and it's perfect. Very similar to a Vepr finish. There's also a product made by VHT. It's called Frame and Chassis Epoxy. Purple can. You can bake that as well, and that is an exact duplicate. I put 2 guns in front of you, one being a factory Vepr and another one being another Vepr that you painted in this. You won't tell the difference. It's exact duplicate to a Vepr finish, Russian finish. Very, very unnoticeable. Yeah, if anything, maybe you'd notice because of the sheen, be due to how you applied it, but it's even hard to screw that up. Just make sure you do your last coat be way back from it and almost like a dusting coat, and then bake it. And another one that's super hard, at least as hard as Cerakote in my opinion. But the appliance epoxy is certainly one of the strongest finishes I've ever seen. It's hard to get off with a sandblaster, put it that way. And I've got a wasser sitting here that was done with the generic brand appliance paint, and it came out. It's like glass. It looks like liquid glass, black liquid glass. Way too shiny. The gun looks like a toy. Matter of fact, it might be on that gun is on the thumbnail to this video. That's why I thought about it. The wasser in the thumbnail is the epoxy, the appliance epoxy, and you'll see how shiny it is. I wasn't going to do Cerakote anymore, and that's what got me back into doing it. That's gonna be the first one through. I'm gonna blast it and redo that one. But yeah, and then I think we're gonna do some of our arsenals. And some of you may say, "Well, you'll ruin the value." Well, I don't know, maybe, but a nice, beautiful, correct shade and finish sheen of Cerakote on an arsenal, in my opinion. 95% of the guys that would ever maybe buy it from me wouldn't know it was Cerakoted to begin with. They just think it was the paint. And it would certainly look better than the factory. But no, if the gun happens to be perfect, I'm going to leave it alone. But like my one where the typical Arsenal paint bubbled off, I'm going to redo that. But I haven't had many problems with Arsenal paint. A lot of people do. I think the key there is to heat cycle them and cure it, essentially. And if you do that, it's fine. You don't run into that problem. But if you guys want any more information on appliance epoxy paints or VHT, I think it's frame and chassis. I'll take a look. I'll let you know. And I got some upstairs. Take a look and let you guys know next week on it. Kind of a poor man's Cerakote. How's that sound? Most ovens are big enough to hang a barreled action in if you go diagonal. And the temperature you bake it at is the higher the temperature, the duller it'll get. My experience is 375 is probably a good shot all the way around. Don't go too heavy on the coats. Light coat, you don't need 100% coverage in the first coat. Light coat, let it tack. Second coat, let it tack. Third coat, maybe a full coat, but not heavy. And let that tack pretty darn good. And then a dust coat and bake it. Done. Also, before you shoot it, after it's clean and before you're going to shoot it, I mean paint it, heat that thing up to 250 and then hang it wherever your booth is and shoot it with the whatever you're shooting warm, and that stuff will lay much better and give you much better finish. Just warmed up. It doesn't even have to be a 2. If you heat it up and take your time getting out there, whatever, you'll be fine. You just want to take the chill out of the metal. That'll help in a couple of respects. One, the paint flashes quicker, so you don't get any runs or drips in that first coat. And it gives you a little texture to it, so it's not super gloss. And don't be afraid when it comes out super glossy and you're going, oh my God, until you bake it. Now, if you take it out of the oven and it's still like that, well, that's another story. But don't worry about it being glossy. When you bake it out, it'll be super nice. It'll dull right down. You'll see it dull down. You can watch it dull while it's baking. I don't know if that stuff interests you guys or not, but it's fun to do, easy to do. You feel a sense of accomplishment, and you'll enjoy it. Maybe try it out on one of your rougher shooters or something, one that maybe you've banged around a bit. You just want to make it look a little better. It's great finish. Don't feel like you're doing like a poor man's finish or something. If you take your time and do it right, it'll be a gun you'll be proud of. It comes out that nice. It really does. Um, I've told some guys before, there's a complete tutorial that I wrote on, I think it's still on AK Files. I haven't been on there in the longest time, but I think it's on there. If you want to read the whole thing. With the Cerakote, I'll bring you Cerakote videos when we're up and running here. I'm just trying to get the oven thing nailed down. Let's see. So yeah, Chase, the barrel did survive. Still got a spare barrel after all that. That's a win. Yes, it is. Because we are going to. What do you guys think? That whole rifle is Coyote Tan. And I just think the Cerakote Coyote Tan barrel looks so good on there. I think it'll be cool. True American Loretta is here. You're never late. Don't ever apologize for being late. It's fashionable. Don't worry. Who else is here? I thought I saw. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? So Rob Rabbit's in here somewhere. I still haven't seen him. Hattori Hanzo. CMP turnaround for M1 in October was outstanding. How long did it? Didn't take you long. A couple weeks, wasn't it? Let's see. I did heat a stock too much and made a crack doing the Japan method for coloring a birch stock. Thankfully, a lot of careful oil and sanding by hand about made it feel almost unnoticeable. Did heat a stock too much and made a crack doing the Japan. What's the Japan method for coloring? Like burning it, you mean? Where you bring the grain out with it? That sucks. What kind of stock? Who else is here? Arsenal is Cerakoting some of those special edition guns. Yeah, they are on the underfolders. On the underfolders. Any of you guys ever hear of I don't know, must be an SOT, FFL, something Lead Farm? He's somewhere in the Midwest here. I ran across some videos from those guys, and they were doing Yugo M70s, full auto stuff, and a Galil too, rewelds. And one looked pretty nice. Another one looked a little botchy. Rewelds, if you know what you're doing and you can get enough penetration, and get enough weld on there, what happens is guys will, well, first of all, they won't line them up correctly, or they think they're close enough and they're not. But if you can line them up properly, I would recommend a jig. Get them lined up properly, tack them properly the whole time, fitting as many parts as you can fit to it to make sure that everything's still working, whether that be the mag or some other part, a stock, whatever, just to make sure everything's lined up and really, really well. Tack, so you're not warping anything. And once you got everything tacked and pretty solid, then you can start filling. And the hardest thing is guys will fill them and they forget about the heat, first of all. They don't put anything in contact with it. So the heat builds up and they end up warping it. Or they think they got to do a whole fill in one shot. No, 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 no. Fill some, let it cool. Fill a little bit, let it cool. It takes a long time. If you go too fast, you're going to end up warping it. Second thing, uh, guys won't put enough fill on, and then when they grind it down, you can see like the level or the edge of it or a shallow spot, and they go, good enough. Yeah, when they could just put more on, you're not going to hurt anything. Fill it again, grind it again. And when you get close, start. I know guys don't want to get rid of markings and stuff, and you can still do it, but make sure you get a block, preferably steel, maybe small enough to where you have to avoid some of the markings, and you can just sand flat and smooth and not get this. That just looks like such crap. And then, or better yet, you pull one apart and you look in it and you go, oh my God, there's boogers, welds all in there. Back it up with something, back it up with copper, and it won't allow it to sag through. And then there's very little cleanup inside, because inside is hard, right? So everybody starts to clean it up and then goes, good enough. No, it's not good enough. You want it to look right. Yeah, they can be, there's a lot of stuff, guys, you can do yourself that is easier than you think it is. I'll tell you what the key to it all is. It's not getting overexcited. It's not getting angry. It's not getting distressed when something doesn't go just right and you think you ruined it. Well, you didn't. You didn't ruin it. There's always a way to fix. It's just keep cool, keep calm. If you start getting frustrated or something, walk away. Put the tools down, walk away. Come back to it an hour later, the next day, next week. Don't be in a rush. Don't be excited to, I gotta get it together. I want to see, I just want to see how this will look. How many of you guys have refinished a stock? Beautiful job. It's perfect. And you're so excited that, oh yeah, it's dry. And it's still tacky or soft. And you destroyed a perfect job because, I can get it in there without making a mark on it. Stop. Don't be so over excited. I get it. I get it. Finishing a project, having it come out, everybody wants to get it done. Take a deep breath, walk away. Let it dry. Let it allot the time, and don't get excited. Don't get excited, because it'll be so much better if you just take your time. Deep breath. If you screw something up, walk away, come back to it, and look at it then from the standpoint of, okay, what are my options? And truly think about it, research it, ask. There's solutions to every screw up. You just have to put that whole barrel thing I told you about. Took a long time, right? It seems like it did, but it didn't. It was 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. I walked away, I did more thinking about it than anything. And I could have probably, went, yeah, I'll just heat it up, blah, 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 blah. But I wanted my best option to not screw it up, and I really didn't care about it anymore at that point, so it didn't matter. But why ruin something or take a risk of ruining something any more than I had already done, right? But that's the best advice I can give you. Don't be afraid. You're going to screw some things up. You got to do a lot of screw ups before you get good at it. But tell you what, there'll be a lot less screw ups if you take your time. Don't get frustrated. Don't get angry, and learn how to walk away and learn how to be patient to let things do what they're going to do. Whether it's finishing a stock or rust bluing something, don't be over anxious. Good things take time, and it shows. And at the end of the day, the other thing is the little details are what matter. If you look at something and go, oh, I should take care of that. It's just, oh, it'll be fine. No, if it caught your attention, take care of it. Maybe it takes you another day. Maybe you notice something up on the rail and I should put a little more weld in there and regrind it. Take the time and do it. Because if you noticed it, someone else is going to notice it. And when you're just starting out, your friends or some so-called friends will be very critical of things. So just know that. But there's a fine line there too. You can sometimes take something that is damn perfect or is perfect, but to you, you see something and you fiddle with it some more and make it worse. So you got to learn that line of, nope, this is as good as it's going to get. Because let's face it, there are some things that just can't be completely minted out, right? But there's more than you think can be minted out too with the right equipment or right processes. Do your research, especially when refinishing things. And again, prep is the best thing. It's all going to, there are very few, well, I'll say there's no coatings or methods in guns that can hide poor prep work or metal that just isn't right. You're not going to hide anything. Bluing won't hide it. Parkerizing won't hide it. Cerakote certainly won't hide it. You think you're painting it, right? Cerakote is so thin, you're not going to hide. If you can see it before you spray it, you're going to see it probably even more after you do it. Bluing will not hide a damn thing. I can't think of a single coating that'll hide imperfections. So if you want it right and perfect, then make it right and perfect before you coat it or before you plate it or somehow, there's so many processes of changing that outer layer of metal or to protect it or coat it or plate it or whatever you're going to do. It's all in the prep. So make sure it's right and you'll be much more successful. Easy way to do it and not worry about it. Maybe take some of the anxiety about it out of it. Next time you're at a gun show, find the cheapest piece of junk, whatever, that you can buy for $20, $25, $50. Don't care what it is. Take it home, take it apart, and start making it better. If you screw it up, cut it in half, grind it down, toss it in the dumpster, whatever. But good way to learn. Used to be back in the day when kits were $50, you could do anything you wanted. And if you screwed it up, you got 4 more, go to town. It's a shame. Probably a lot of rare, expensive kits back in the day got destroyed by people learning. But hey, you don't end up a Two Rivers or a Krebs or a what's his name that does the rewelds on AK files, turbo this. You don't become one of those guys without making a lot of screw ups. It's a learning process, and you just can't be afraid of it. Dig in, have a plan, do your research, and have patience. Take your time. I'll also say, I don't know how I got on this, but gunsmithing advice, right? Restoration advice. Also, there is, I guess there's always a replacement for the proper tool, but there is no replacement. In the long run, and I'm trying to think of certain instances where you could definitely get by without the proper tool, but having the proper tool is going to make it so much easier. In some cases, astronomically easier, and or save yourself from those little damages that happen when not using the right thing. Um, just having the right stuff. If you don't have it and you can't afford it, wait a week or two till you can, and then go get it. Whether that's parts or tools or what have you. But in this instance, I'm talking about tools. Um, you know, cheap stuff at the end of the day ends up making something look cheap. Same with finishes. Cheap finishes usually don't look as good. Um, while I tell you about that appliance epoxy and all, uh, I'm not going to say it's a replacement for some of the other finishes out there, but if done well, it sure does a pretty darn good job on a budget if done right, but it takes time and it takes practice. You got to know what you're doing. Not know what you're doing, I guess, but um, knowing how just changing one little thing in it can make it look so much better. So that's practice, I guess, and experimentation. Hell, you can always throw it back in the sandblaster and start over, right? Um, Polishing, there's one. That's an art form. That's a ridiculous art form. Um, I'm marginal at best. Um, there's people that think they can polish and just can't, and then there's people that can polish. Um, yeah, that's man, it's just so hard to get even and perfect without losing edges and different stuff. And you can actually, what's the word I'm looking for? You can actually kind of mush metal in a way. Some is, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but I won't polish. I'll polish small parts. I won't polish out a frame or anything. I'm just no good at it. I don't think my end result is not good enough for my um, expectations. So, and I'll tell you the truth, I've seen a lot of stuff come back from reputable gunsmiths that I looked at a buddy's gun and went, "Who polished that?" I just want to know so I don't use them. You know, yeah, a lot of things have been destroyed by it. Even if you think it's good, a lot, an aficionado, a collector will go, "Oh my God, he destroyed it." That's the other thing. Know the difference between conservation and restoration. That's a huge one Mark from Anvil Channel talks about. Um, you don't want to take, a gun with provenance maybe, or a rare gun, or even just a semi-rare gun that's worth a chunk of change and start messing with it. The worst thing in the world is the old wire wheel thing. I found this rusty old thing in granddad's closet and I'm going to one shot with it and the gun's done. The value's over, gone. Um, Learn about it. Watch some of Mark's channel, his Anvil channel. Just an incredible, incredible gunsmith. And if you can pick up 1/10 of what he knows, 1/100th, um, you'd be a master. The guy's incredible. A lot of gunsmiths end up specializing. Maybe they are really good at checkering. Um, Maybe they're good at refinishing. Very few are good at all of it. Maybe good enough to, I guess, you know, maybe add something to a guy's everyday hunting rifle or something like that. But to completely uh, change and do a quality job on something in every respect, from wood to metal to uh, custom finishes to there's a lot of specialization. And whether you want to try it or you want to find somebody to do a certain job, um, you got to do your research and spend the time to find the right person, and then look at the work. Don't just take someone's word for it. Go there if you can. Look at examples. Stop by the shop. See works in progress, things he's done, what he's got waiting to ship back to customers, stuff like that, and get a real idea of what you want and what you expect and what they can do. Um, what else can I say on that subject? I don't know. Oh, if it is a nice firearm, a historic firearm, maybe there's a lot, like a Garand, let's say, a nice Garand, World War II, original barrel, original stock. If you've got to do some work on that gun, you don't ever want anybody to know that someone was inside of it. You want to get in and get out while not leaving a mark behind. You know what I mean? Again, Mark talks about this too. You don't want to overdo it on something like that. Conserving is making sure that any degradation to a firearm is stopped. Essentially, I mean, they're always going to keep aging, but you want to try and stop that aging. If there's rust or pitting, if it's not taken care of, guys, it's going to continue. It may not turn into a pile of rust in your lifetime, but in a few lifetimes it will. It's got to be stopped, and there's ways to do it to conserve it without changing the overall character, patina, all that stuff. Restoration is what happens after conservation is done, and then after you conserve it, and then sit back and take a good look at it and assess from there. That's the word I'm looking for. Conserve it and then assess. Okay, is it in working order? Yes, everything works. Okay, assess. We've conserved it. It's not going to get any worse anytime soon. That's wood, metal, all that stuff. And now assess. Okay, should this gun be left as is? Or maybe due to value, commonality, or rarity, or lots of different things, should we do this, or should we do that, or should we leave it alone? And at the end of the day, it's up to the owner of it. If it makes you happy, I guess it makes you happy. But, you certainly don't want to ruin the value of anything, if it's worth anything. If it's common, do what you want with it. Just depends, what we think is common today, 40 years from now, guys will be going, oh, can you believe they did that to these? Oh my God. It's, I guess, kind of how we look at people sporterizing World War I bolt action stuff, even SKSs, stuff like that, Who'd have thunk SKSs would be worth $800 for certain, It's crazy. I almost think Chinese SKSs are bringing more money now than Russian ones in a way. I don't know. Maybe it's that I see more Chinese out there lately. And there's all the Russian ones are gone and in private hands. And the only time they pop up is if somebody passes and a collection is offered to the public again, and that's you just don't see a lot of the Russian SKSs anymore. So maybe it's just there's been some recent batches, although not very good ones, of Chinese SKSs, and so maybe there's just more out there. I'm seeing more of them trade hands and more dollar figures out there, and they've been going up like everything else has, and just fewer Russian ones. But my opinion, the Russian ones should definitely be worth more money than either the Yugos, or certainly the Yugos, but even the Chinese. The Russian guns are better guns all the way around. Really, really nice stuff. Especially their stocks are so pretty. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we got on this stuff, but it's always fun. Let's see. DB Cooper, crazy times. What's a country wants 1650 for a bogey set? Can you imagine that? That's a cool place. That site you're talking about there. I guess a lot of people know about it. A lot of people don't know about it. Don't tell people. Shh. That was always I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. That was a place that I could always find some cool stuff. While other guys were looking for certain things on forums or something like that. Here, I'll give you, for instance, back about 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, somewhere in there, top loading drum mags. Russians and I think Romanians too. Well, Romanians here. There was a time they were bringing, 2.25. They're probably, I'm sure they're more now. 2.25 for a top loading Romanian drum mag on the forums and the files and marketplace and stuff like that. They were bringing like 250, somewhere around there. And at the same time, I could go over there and buy all I wanted for like $150 and turn right around and dump them on the files for whatever. And some guys were doing that. I'd laugh and watch it, but they could go right over and get them there. That's just one example. They always had good prices on stuff. I haven't been over there in a long time, but just one of them cool sites. You never know what they're going to have. But yeah, can you imagine $1,650 for a parts kit? I don't think I paid that much for my paratrooper Romanian RPK kit. And how rare is that thing, man? I love that gun. We got to get that out and shoot it. It is so beautiful. Two Rivers did that gun. God, it's just perfection. It really is. Guys, if you have a rare kit, or any kit for that matter, and you don't want to do it yourself, send it off to Two Rivers, man. Those guys are just masters. And you don't have to tell them what you want, what you expect, what you want it to be like. Ship it off and just wait. You don't have to call them, bug them. And when you get it, it's going to be exactly what you want, and your jaw's going to hit the ground. It's that pretty. Just phenomenal. I can't say enough about them. I wonder what they're charging these days. It's been a few years, but interesting. The burning method, just a Ruger Mini 14 stock, but turned out really cool with just one kind of blemish that probably only I can see, really. Any recommendations on how to clean a wood stock? Soap and water. I'm trying to clean some Yugo AK furniture that I picked up. So it's always fun, man. And I've tried and used, I can't even tell you how many methods and things I've done. Um, I've never ruined a set, so I got that going for me. But all the things you've heard of people trying or people giving advice on, that you go, oh my God, I would never do that, or that's got to destroy it. It's very little that'll actually destroy it, especially laminate. Uh, what'd you say? Oh, Yugo. So your beach. So I've got a Yugo handguard that actually, I don't know where that came from. I bought a bunch of them, like a good bunch of them from either uh, What a Country or one of those. There was another one out there. He was kind of a shyster. I can't remember the guy's name, but anyhow, bought a bunch of um, matching gas tube cover and handguard Yugo sets, and they were advertised as basically very good to mint, new old stock, whatever, or takeoffs maybe. But they all were great, except, a lot of those guns obviously saw the Civil War over there. And I still have the one set I'm going to tell you about. At first, I thought, well, maybe somebody painted it, right? Because they had these huge black stains on it. And then I thought, well, I'll bet you that's like diesel. To this day, I think it's like diesel motor oil. Something black got on it, like dye, or the best thing I can, if you've ever changed the oil on a diesel truck, that oil, when it gets in it, you used motor oil, there's something in that diesel that turns it so black that if you get it on your hands, it'll take you 2 weeks to scrub it out and for it to fade away, because it ain't going to come off your skin. Well, that's what this foregrip reminds me of. And I've tried everything. I soaked it in acetone for a week. It didn't do a damn thing to it. Yeah, I ran that thing through, let's see, it's been through a dishwasher cycle or two. It's been scrubbed with every cleanser, soap, cleaner known to man. It's been soaked in acetone for a week. It's been, I can't even tell you. I can't even sand it out. It goes in so deep. But for your typical Yugo dirty, cosmolined up, battlefield pickup sort of rubbed in dirt, I would take straight Dawn soap and a good stiff nylon toothbrush and go to town with it. Just scrub and scrub and scrub. Get that Dawn real thick, like a paste almost, on there when you're scrubbing, and just leave it sit. Scrub it where you're getting that thick coat of Dawn on there, sitting on there almost like toothpaste sort of. Let it sit. Few hours, whatever. You don't want it to dry out on there, but let it sit and do its job. Then come back to it with a good wet brush, that same brush but wet, and just start scrubbing it. And then rinse it. Yes, it's going to feather a little bit of the wood, but nothing that 4-aught steel wool can't knock off in one pass. That's the best for getting everything out of there. It won't hurt it to, if you want, hit it with brake cleaner, maybe for a little bit of deeper stuff. Like I said, there's nothing that will dissolve wood. Now, it's not to say you can't maybe dissolve laminate. I would not use like acetone or brake cleaner on laminate stuff, although I have, and it really hasn't done shit to that either. But you do run a risk depending of doing something to the glue. But again, guys have told me, oh, it'll delaminate, it'll this, it'll that. I've run them through the hottest dish. I mean, my wife keeps the water so friggin' hot here, it'll burn you on contact. And I've run them through dishwashers. I've done everything. And yeah, you're going to feather the wood. Put it this way, the dishwasher, ours runs so hot, I can take a complete coating of shellac off a Russian stock in the dishwasher. One thing that might work well for you, if it's pretty deep stain, you can try, is Clean Strip. Home Depot carries it. The gel formula is what I use. And you brush it on. The key to it, if you're removing a finish like shellac or paint, I've used it to remove rattle can jobs off guns. The key to it is to get a good gel dollop on a brush, kind of lay it on there, and maybe one swipe. You want it on there thick, a thick coating of that gel, and you don't want multiple brushes. Lay it on there and smooth it maybe, but barely any pressure so it stays on thick. Let it sit. Again, let it sit. Let it do its job. You don't want to be doing the work. You want it to do the work. It will lift some stains too, but depending what it is. I've had it pull some stains out perfectly. I've had others not touch it. Just depends what that stain is. But if you're trying to remove paint, shellac, man, that stuff works great. If you put it on thick, let it sit. If it doesn't seem to be working, let it sit a little longer. A lot of times you'll see it start to bubble. Let it sit. You don't want it to dry, but let it sit. Maybe it takes 20 minutes. But at that point, you can take just about anything from a cloth to a plastic putty knife to whatever and just, and if you do it right, everything comes off and the wood almost looks dry and ready to go underneath. God, I should have filmed so much of this stuff to show you guys. Because it's just the little tips and things you learn while doing it that I can't pass it along in all situations. You forget, well, okay, what was on that I pulled that off with or whatever. And I am fresh out of any wood to even do videos on. And today to buy it all is a fortune. Used to be I could get a hefty bag full of dong handguards for 25, 50 cents, $1 a piece at most, and now one dong is going to cost you $75. It's insane what's happened. Used to be able to get God, Romanian furniture, bag loads of it, drum loads of it, buckets of it, everywhere. Anything. All furniture was always just dirt cheap, even Russian stuff. Hell, even 10 years ago, it wasn't bad. Now, I do have some stuff laying around that I've done and is finished, and I always thought I'd use on something. I got some Russian stocks, some Romanian, Yugo stuff, Bulgarian. I got a little bit of everything, but I got nothing that is sitting. It's either super nice original that I'm not going to mess with, or it's been redone, or just stuff I don't want to mess with anymore. It's worth too much. You can still find Romanian wood, though, pretty cheap, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I get my hands on some of that and do some videos for you guys and show you. But I enjoy it. It's just I go through phases where I do a ton of it, and then it becomes work. You know what I mean? I did one for a guy once. He sent me some wood. I think I did it. There is a video of me doing a set of Romanian. I think, but I don't know if I showed the cleaning. It wasn't bad if it was. And I didn't show the stripping, I don't think. Maybe, but I showed the refinishing of it. And I used to do two finishes. If a guy wanted it perfect, we'd do it perfect. If he wanted the scars and different markings left, well, we'd bring it down to the wood and leave it, not sand it smooth, leave the markings and all that, and then shellac it and uh, use a couple different processes to bring it down and then put another coat on and bring it down, put another coat on and bring it down, where it filled all of those markings with shellac, but we brought it up by bringing it down and then bringing it up again. It filled them all in, and then we did the final coats over it, buffed it, butcher waxed it, and steel wooled it to where it was absolute perfection, except you could still see every mark it ever had or cartouche or whatever, but it was perfect, smooth like glass and sealed and forever. So it still had all the look while being perfect, if you that makes sense. I don't know. I like doing those. It's a pain because yeah, you're shellacking and bringing it down, shellacking, bringing it takes a long, long time. And at the end of the day, the more you're doing it, the longer it's got to dry between coats. And shellac can take a long, long time to truly set up, especially in those areas that you're filling and bringing up. Uh, so, yeah. Uh, Yeah, the Dawn thing works real well on that Yugo stuff. Um, Also, you can try acetone on it; won't hurt it because there's no laminate in there. Um, Also, the stripper thing. Try the least invasive method first and work up from there. Dawn is always the starting point, I guess. And then when you're done with it, use use boiled linseed oil on it. Comes out super nice. You can use tung oil, other stuff if you want, but I just found that the boiled linseed oil just puts such a nice finish, and it deepens as it ages and gets a little darker. Um, God, I wish I could bring my AB2 over here and show you. It's gotten darker since I redid that a long time ago, and it's just gorgeous. Yeah, remember the dishwasher method? Everybody used to talk about it, and guys would AK files. These idiots putting stuff in their dishwasher, destroying the stocks. There was a Mosin Nagant forum where guys were doing that, and everyone was making fun of them. And I think it was an M44 stock I tossed in the dishwasher one day, and the thing came out like pristine. I'm like, hell yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's gonna warp it, and it's gonna this, and it's gonna that. Yeah, it's friggin' Russian wood. The only thing gonna break that is a tank running over it. Um, but yeah, it can work. Um, What else? Some of these refinishing tips would make good shorts. They say that, yeah, yeah, you know what? Thanks. That's a good idea. My wife is really, really pushing me to do a ton of Instagram stuff. Um, and to me, Instagram was a little, I mean, I love Instagram. But there's some gun bunnies on there that are just fabulous. But, I post pictures and stuff, but I never I still don't know how to do the videos and all that. But she's really pushing me to do a lot more with this channel. But and we will. It's just I got to get everything settled and done, and that's requiring the new shop and everything. And it's going to be a bit, but we're going to keep, for now, we're going to keep plugging along at the pace we're going. And then when I'm ready, it's going to be full steam. So when that happens, you guys look forward to that. Until then, is what it is for now. You enjoy it, and we'll just keep doing what we do and go from there. Please excuse the lack of videos, but between all the stuff going on with the moves and all of that, and then the cold, it's been brutally cold here. It's just starting to warm up last couple of days, but the wind is horrible, and it's winter, man. It's the further north you go, the worse it gets. I don't mind it, but it's hard. I'm fine doing videos even down to 10, 15 degrees. But when it gets 0 and sub-zero, it's just hard. It's hard, especially to film and everything. I don't mind going shooting because you can always jump in the truck and warm up a little bit or whatever. I don't mind a day of doing that. It just it's hard with filming and everything. Progress on my channel is slow and steady, adding about 30, 40 subs a month. That's cool. You get there. Are you still dealing with what? Are you watching your watch time and all that to get to, what is it, 4,000 hours for monetization or something? I thought that would never come. Oh my God, I remember that. And then it happened, and you think, oh yeah. And then you wish, you know what? I wish I had never done it, because I don't mean to be a downer, but it's the money is meaningless. It really is. It's so little. Yeah. I as giving advice to another channel that's just starting, I would look at every single other way there is to monetize a channel. Then because if you're going to worry about making money from YouTube, you're just not going to make any. You're not. You'll be lucky. You'll be lucky to get enough for a tank of gas a month. Lucky. Maybe every other month. But I just never looked at like the Amazon thing where you do if you buy it off my channel, I get a kickback kind of thing. I guess that's easy enough to do, but I never did it because I always thought, oh, who the hell is going to I got to buy something off Amazon. Let me go over to Rockford Ordnance and go through there. Really? Who's going to do that? Raise your hand. Who's going to do that? I don't know. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe the people do it. Or the way to do it is products you recommend that they carry that you found work well, which I could do that. There's a few things I could do. There's a lot I could do actually off of that. Maybe I should do it. I don't know. I always just did it for the fun of it, for bringing you guys information and passing on what I know. That's why I did it, but then the more you do it too, the more you're spending to do it, because I don't think people realize how much does get spent just to put anything out. You kind of wish that, I wish I could recoup that, but then you didn't do it. So it's a dog chasing its tail. That's what it is. So you keep doing it. I have a Rumble account as well. I added a Patreon. I got a Patreon somewhere, but I've never done anything with it. I don't think I have one patron. Maybe I do. I just haven't been over there to see. I don't know. It's bad enough to upload to one platform, let alone 82 of them. I guess I should do it just for a safety net, but I don't know. I think enough people know that if something were to happen and I disappeared one day, they'd go check Instagram, Facebook, something. They'd find me. I do have just about every video back to everything I've ever done is on a hard drive, like an 8 terabyte hard drive. Every clip, everything. Well, I shouldn't say everything. Maybe the last year or two. I don't know. Early stuff's all gone. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of craziness. It's supposed to be easier, not harder. Are we ever going to see your wife do a guest spot? I thought you hinted. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why she wouldn't. It just states she doesn't. I don't know. She's like the strongest woman you'd ever meet, not afraid of anything, but yet to go on the channel, I don't know if she'd want to. I don't know. She'd be good on the channel. And she's a good looking girl, that's for sure. You certainly wouldn't guess she's my age, that's for sure. But then again, she's not. She's a couple years younger, but not a lot. We're very close in age, but she looks a lot younger than I do, that's for damn sure. And she's actually in shape. You can link your YouTube to Rumble. Your videos automatically upload. Really? Maybe I'll try that. Tech 556, 5568K that you want in your collection. Yeah, Polish, whatchamacallit, Baril. I want a 556 Baril with the rail. Bad. Love it. Love it. Love it. I've got the Sam 5. I like that. But I think the only other one I'd probably want is that. The Baril. Trying to think of anything else. You know what gun really has grown on me more and more and more is that Marco Mar Sepmi, Spanish Sepmi. What a cool gun. God, what a cool gun. I'm so glad I stumbled into that thing and grabbed it. Just got to get out and shoot it some more. It's really cool. It's just so smooth, man. I know, not an AK, but just cool gun. Yeah, I'm going to surprise you guys with some really cool stuff over the next few months. I think you guys, your jaws will hit the floor, I think, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I heard those things are finicky. The Markomar, the only thing, if you run the mags that they send you with them, and I can't remember the name of them, they're metal mil spec Air 15 mag. And as long as you use those, they got orange followers, and both the aluminum and the stainless steel, and they work fine. They work great. That's the only thing. I run and run and run. I haven't had any problems with them, and I've run steel case, brass, even some reloads. So Duramag, yeah, the Duramags run great. No problems. The FFL I use for transfers is closing. Got to find another dealer. That sucks. Always sucks when you're comfortable with somebody and you've been doing business with them and they know you. You know, you don't even have to call them. You just send their FFL to whoever, and when it comes in, they call you and say, "Get your ass." They don't even say hi. They just get your ass down here. You know, okie doke, here I come. That kind of thing. Yeah, I get it. That sucks, man. And it's happening more and more because they put the pressure on them, you know. My range and FFL both closing. Oh, dude. Where are you at? What state? If you don't mind saying, if you do, don't bother. Don't worry. Or maybe West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, whatever. We're 5 miles apart. That sucks. Telling you, the only solution is to have your own place. But there's something to be said for the camaraderie of going to the range and seeing guys you see all the time. But that kind of thing, you know, there's a lot to be said for it. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like your own place, not having to wait on people, to check targets or something, or set targets, or set up something you want to do outside of plinking around, you know. God forbid you belong to a FUD range where you can't draw and you can't one round every 25 seconds or whatever the hell it is. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. At least 300 meters, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be nice. I can't wait to finish. It's going to be a lot of work. It's not easy, you know. I've done it once, getting land ready and everything. Everything's a pain, a giant lot of work. And I'm not getting any younger, and I got no help. So it's all on me. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. And it keeps you busy, right? So we'll be able to bring all kinds of stuff, building the range, everything. We're going to have our Rockford Ordnance off-road mini personnel carrier to haul our ass up and down the range. It's going to be cool. We're going to have so much fun. I might even be able to do some shooting from horseback. What do you know? That'll be cool. Yeah, you just rolled in, Martin, and I'm about done. We're 3 hours. I don't even know what the hell I talked about for 3 hours. But whatever it was better than watching the presidential address, wasn't it? Time flew, where all you do is be pissed off and incredulous right now. Had you watched that? But I hope you liked it. It was fun as usual. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. You're the man. And yeah, hey, spring's coming. It's staying light here now, at least till like 5 o'clock right now. So I can't wait till it's light out till 6. If I'm not getting out to shoot, I'm at least getting out. I got to get some brass. But boy, hey, I'm not going to have to load all summer, that's for sure. When the time comes, I'd be glad to come to your new property and help us. Yeah, no, it'll be awesome. It probably wouldn't be a bad ride for you either. Maybe, and I'm kind of guessing what's a suburb, if I remember right. Well, you know where Lake Geneva is, right? A little northwest of there. So not bad. Won't be bad. So yeah, Orion, if you know where that's at, it's probably not a bad ride for you. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm gonna need, if any of you guys are anywhere close to let's see, Chicago and the suburbs, they're probably what's Lake Geneva? An hour, maybe, hour and a half. So maybe I'm a little further than that, 2 hours. I don't know. Maybe an hour and a half, depending where somebody lives, I guess. But I'm going to need some heavy equipment. I need somebody that can run a bulldozer to scrape some topsoil off, and I need somebody that can drive a dump truck and lay gravel. That's what I need. Somebody that knows how to time the dump and just lay it perfect almost, you know. That's the two things that would just save me a ton of time and money. In taking some trees out for lanes and for shooting lanes and stuff like that. It was 15 minutes from my old house. So I'm going to search between myself and Richmond now for maybe a closer shop. Oh, you're in Richmond, Virginia? Sounds like a cool shop. Corky's Military Supply. Military and police. That sounds like a cool place. Caroline Street, Fredericksburg. Yeah. Well, that sucks. You guys are losing that. But guys, I will urge you. You know, I saw this coming years ago and made the move back then, and I probably should have got rid of the other place and some of the investment property years and years ago. But like I said, I had an attachment here and it worked. But now that the kids are all grown and everything, you know, I can just go by them. So uh, I all I can tell you is if you're thinking about moving somewhere, do it sooner than later. Don't even think about it. Just do it. It'll all work out. It'll all work out in the end. You won't be sorry. You'll be happier. Make yourself happy. You got to be happy. If you're not happy, nothing's good with your life. So go make yourself happy. Just do it. Why have to kowtow to all the craziness? Pick a place that works for you with the state government, local government, what you want to do, everything, and just go do it. Um, Make sure you're doing it though where it's not going to catch up to you at 5 years from now. You know, they're not going to build up around you, or maybe the state's changing. You know, politically, but make the move. Just go do it. Don't be afraid. Nothing's and that family thing. I get it. Family's important, but a couple hour car ride or a short plane ride or whatever, you can still see them. You know, it's not a problem. You got to make yourself happy at the end of the day. Um, and even with family, it'll all work out. It'll all work out. So just do it. That's my best advice to you. Thank you for the advice on the shorts. We're going to take advantage of that. And we'll get you that Black Arrow video on these nights here. What a cool firearm that is. Holy moly. And a bunch of other cool stuff. I'm going to bring you in my opinion, the perfect Z-Pap. The perfect all around Z-Pap. I think you guys will love that. And man, I'm so impressed with the way this rifle came out. Just wonderful. One of my definite favorite AKs of all time. Really cool. Really cool. And I hear we got underfolders coming. Yay. We'll see, huh? Anyhow, wishing you guys luck on getting a restraining order for the whole state down there. Hope you guys get that soon. And what do you think on the WBP AK? It's a great gun. How do you beat it? Nice gun. Any of them. I can't really recommend the Pioneer. Although I hear they're better than they used to be, I'd have a hard time buying a Pioneer or anything. But the WBP stuff, it's all good stuff. All good stuff. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with it. Oh, there's so much nice Polish stuff now. I mean, yeah. I'm waiting on the 5.56 Baril. I almost bought the 7.62, but I don't know. What do you guys think about here? And then I'm going, but and I'm only sticking around because Matt got in here, or Martin got in here late. That's the only reason I'm sticking around, giving him a little time to relax here. What do you guys think of Hungarian AKs? Um, I know they're quality. I never owned one. Came close a couple times. Walked in a shop once and was the only one on the wall, and almost pulled the trigger on it. I can't remember. I think it was an underfolder at the time. Might have been a fixed stock. You know, the blonde wood and everything. What do you guys think? Anybody own one? What's the Y channel? What do you mean Y channel? Am I missing something? Uh, his channel's Rabbit Hole Reviews. What do you guys think of Hungarian? Anything? You know, I always thought they were kind of and I'm not talking the AMD. Their regular, what is it, M63 or 68? They were just always kind of in the background to me. I don't think there's really no following to them, you know? Not like the Russian guns or even Romanian stuff or Polish stuff or Bulgarian. They were just, maybe because there weren't that many variants of it, you know? You had some underfolders, you had some fixed stocks, there were some pre-bands, and then there was the FEGs. And I think all of them were FEG pretty much. I know there were some kits, but, you know, I knew you were going to say cigars. I had a pre-band SA85M underfolder. It was okay. I just remember them being always looking really nice, you know, fit finish wise, but nobody ever talking about them, and they've never done anything really. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just because they kind of came and went, you know. I can't remember the last time. Last time I saw one was probably 3 years ago. I think it was new at that time. I wonder if there's anyone still coming in. I don't know. You think you would see them, you know, but you don't. Um, I'm sure they can still be imported. I don't know why they're not, or maybe 8,000 of what? The underfolders? I'll have to take a look over there. They still got them, huh? Any fixed stocks? That'd be a nice gun to have, a fixed stock. But they all weren't pre-banned. There were later guns. I remember seeing them, oh God, 16, 17 years ago, all the way up to maybe 4 or 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, new. So they had to be getting them somewhere. Yeah, they had post-ban also. And really no difference between the two, you know. Maybe a bayonet lug or something like that. I don't know if they, but they always had blonde wood. Kasnars were the pre-bands, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and those were always kind of, everybody always said that they were well finished. Well, you know, it definitely wasn't your Wasser with the rough finish and all. They were nice or nicely finished guns, and but they never. I don't know. I mean, guys like Misha will do videos on them and stuff, but it wasn't a go-to gun where a guy would buy that and change it up and do some stuff. You know, I don't know. I never even knew anybody that owned one, really, to tell you the truth. Um, I don't even know how I stumbled on it the other day. Oh, AMD video popped up, and I never thought I wanted one of those either. Kind of ugly, you know. And then I'm like, huh, looking for something different. That might be something different to add. But you know, I don't know. Back then, you didn't have the choices in AKs you have now, so they were more special. Yeah, I don't know about more special. I think the other stuff that was out when they were out, you still had Segas and Wassers and Yugo guns and Sentry, whatever Sentry was bringing in, and Arsenal stuff. There was so many other guns and that were more and closely related to what people saw as more mainstream communist countries, and Hungary was like, yeah, what happened in Hungary? Not much, kind of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, yep, yep, yep. Well, late 80s. Yeah. What did you have then? You had, well, Chinese guns for a while. Um, yeah, really. You had Romanian stuff then. Mahdi's, right? Valmets. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, if you were here of what you just laid out there, um, and the other thing was too, the late 80s, most guys looked at them as they'd rather walk out of the store with an AR or something back then, or if they were preppers, they'd buy an SKS or something. And these guns were kind of in between, and most guys that weren't into AKs would look at it, all of them as junk, but specifically the Chinese and stuff. But if you wanted an AK that looked like your quintessential commie AK, what were you going to buy? You'd buy the Chinese, right? And then you'd probably be either a Mahdi or a Hungarian if you wanted one that looked super mint. And then Yugo probably. And Velmet was Velmet, is sort of kind of an AK, is how people looked at them. So yeah, I guess and then when you ran through that time period and today's stuff started coming in, you couldn't get Chinese then, and the Hungarian just kind of fell away, But I mean, as good as anything else, I would think, you know. Never shot one. Uh, anyhow, yeah, right. The 76. Anyhow, guys, um, good talking to y'all. I hope you gleaned a couple things that can help you out. Let me know how that Yugo wood works out. You're cleaning up. Like to know how it works out. So come back next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Central Time. Coffee and Kalashnikovs. And I didn't have a sip of coffee the whole time. Still hot. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. I am extremely whipped, and my whole body hurts from lifting, moving, carrying, doing. But it's good to be free and behind the cheddar curtain. And for those of you that aren't and want to, just do it. Do it. There's ways to do it. Don't think you can't. And enjoy the week. Get you some videos, hopefully. Gonna be tough to get out for the next week or two. So you guys will probably just see me here unless I drop a quick that Black Arrow video or a couple others. But just gonna be tough. So we'll live here for the next few weeks till I got everything here organized and ready to go. And you're going to see a new set too. Got a new desk and stuff for the new video room. And it's going to be cool. We're going to bring you, when we're building, we're going to bring you pictures of or video of the vault. It's going to be poured when the foundation's poured. And yeah, it's going to be cool. Vault / safe room / whatever. Doing it completely. You learn a lot after the first few. And this time I'm doing it right. So we'll see. But till then, everything will be normal, just more fun and different backgrounds in our shooting videos. We'll still probably get to the range, the same range you guys are used to, but not as much anymore because I won't be spending any time really other than work or going to see the kids or something. So you'll see different stuff and better stuff. So it's going to be fun. You'll see it in the next week or so. Stuff will come out as soon as I get stuff that was in storage and stuff all done, wrapped up. So that's about it. That's about it. I don't know what else. That's all I got, brother. As always, keep up the fight. Keep your chin up. Interesting to see what comes of this brace thing. I hope they get it stopped. Or that's going to be another pain in the neck, right? And we'll go from there. Maybe next week we'll talk a little on that, on how you guys see it and what you guys want to do or are going to do or whatever. Hopefully by next week we got news that they stopped it. I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, till then, stay warm, get out shooting, have a good time, enjoy yourself. Appreciate every one of you. If you haven't already, make sure you like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you want to send a super chat, we certainly would appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you then. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out.